light. You got a red light.
6:39 p.m. Tuesday, October 11th, 2022. Episode number 949 of Yeah Dude. My name is Jonathan, and this is Seth. Hello, Seth.
Jonathan, hello.
Hi.
Hi. It's great to see you and to be here, but it's also it's amazing that right now we know that people have said I'm going to listen to episode 949 of Yeah Dude. That's a pretty incredible thing.
Thank you for doing that.
In October of 2022, to have that support.
Means a lot.
In autumn of 2022, to have a support system.
Yeah.
Screen Actors Guild.
Speaking of support systems.
Speaking of support systems.
Unions. Skilled workers unions.
Skilled workers and laborers. Magicians.
If you will.
Do it all right here. Seth, I want to let you know we're going to have an enlightening presentation. This is
the Dalai Lama.
His
Holiness.
His Holiness is going to do some scenes from Glengarry Glen Ross. Always be closing. Have you seen the Dalai Lama spit Mammoth's words? Always be contemplating. ABC. Seth, this is a webinar. And this webinar is going to join us for an enlightening presentation on calculating high-budget subscription video-on-demand residuals. Roma, as Hollywood shifts more of its content to streaming services, it can be difficult for performers to figure out just how much they should be paid. We'll be taking the guesswork out of how much compensation you should expect to receive. Those fucking streamers are probably trying to cut corners. I bet they got a lot of accountants up in the Hulu building.
Anyone here murder Marty?
Hello. I mean, it's been a while. I mean, most of my work happened in the analog days. It was a more, there wasn't that much streaming.
Digital media,
if you will. Well, I shot on film.
On-demand
streaming,
streaming.
baby. But now you don't know what Netflix is trying to How are they trying to?
Well, I mean, it's a different thing. You know, Hallmark Channel replaying a Marty episode versus, me watching it on demand on Amazon or something. Like you need to be compensated. But I mean, me choosing to watch it
on Tubi,
on Vudu, you should be paid, but maybe not as much as if it's being aired on,
HBO,
a national
Max,
outlet,
if you will. So
they're going to tell you how much money. My dad owes
Your dad is going to get owe me.
Yeah.
You can just cut me a check and we'll call it even.
I believe,
that's
like
good,
I said,
though. That's good information.
I think it's pertinent to our.
I mean, I bet they find the ways to cut the. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, yeah. Well, it was on, and we don't know.
I don't think
we don't know how many people watched
I
it.
think you have enough 87-cent checks to prove that they have figured out a way to cut the corner.
Yeah,
I've been getting those since about the year after it aired. So
mid-90s.
But I do believe that, assuming that the Redux of Night Court comes out, that we should be seeing more, as I've said, more McBride. Don't much to my father's chagrin, I would say. I was
probably
he's not his favorite thing to just have airing perpetually
constantly
on the television, but
also for me, they'll probably bring Crossroads. They'll probably bring that, re-release that. Possibly.
Why would they do that?
Just out of respect to me and my work
and the shared work.
Yeah, Killer, a Journal of Murder,
pool.
some of my earlier work.
Raisin Bran.
I mean, it's serial killers and all that's I portrayed basically the country's first serial killer, Carl Panzram. Killer, a Journal of Murder. You might want to find that. I don't know. Where can you find that? Look that up. Where do you get that on Amazon?
You don't need me to look it up.
Where
you
do
know
find
where
that?
you
Amazon Prime.
Wait, I've never seen this.
Yeah, we'll find that.
What, are you in court or something?
Whatever.
Seth.
I just do my work.
What is this called?
Don't worry about it. It's just I play a serial killer's hot. Is Dahmer the most watched show on Netflix? Take it back.
Okay, let's.
Take it back to Killer, a Journal of Murder. Doesn't that sound intriguing?
Yeah.
Wow, so there's a murder journal? What is this? Carl Panzram? That man sounds terrifying.
1995?
What kind of an actor could portray such a terrifying person?
James Woods.
Okay.
And a young A young Carl
A
portrayed.
young Carl.
So could you say you played a young James Woods?
I would know, because I channeled my deep research. I had to go into the mind of a monster, Jonathan, to portray Carl Panzeram. A mind of a monster. I have a compendium documentary I made about the filming called Inside the Mind of a Monster.
No way.
You can get that on Peacock. And then I'll calculate my...
I'm just putting in the name of the film and your name and seeing how...
And watch the internet, like, break. Watch that. Fucking kidding me? So, listen, that's what's up. That's what they're into. The podcasts about murder. They're into scripted shows about murder. They're into films about murder. This man was a monster, Jonathan. A monster. And I had to go inside of his mind. And then James Woods came up to me on set and he said, Seth, what you did earlier, would you mind if I incorporate that into my performance? I said, Mr. Woods, I would be honored.
What do you... In this bio... You are an actor and a writer.
Oh.
Known for Crossroads, Killer, A Journal of Murder,
Wow.
Fish Without a Bicycle, and co-host of the weekly hour-long podcast, UhhYeahDude. So with all of that being correct, I'm wondering what it is that they are referencing when they say writer.
Do they mean yeah, dude? Because we write our material.
No.
We direct our material.
I'm wondering, do you have writing credit on a IMDb-able production?
On an episodic. You remember that Mad Men I wrote? We don't really ever talk about that.
The spec script
The
that they
Mad Men
picked
that I
up
wrote.
on you?
That John Hamm was fighting to get made. Thank you, Mr.
It's also
Hamm.
your credit on Crossroads is talent organizer, so it actually looks like you worked on the crew.
Oh, does it say that really? That's awful.
You're
Extra helper. What? Talent organizer. Fuck.
USA Today snapshots. Putting teachers in the pipeline. Americans weighing in on the odds that they'd encourage their children or another young person to become a kindergarten through 12th grade teacher. 44% said not at all likely that they would recommend they become a teacher. 18% say they would likely support
I would support
encourage.
that, my child.
And somewhat likely, 38%.
Somewhat likely.
You would... What?
I mean...
You cannot...
You couldn't...
How can you dissuade someone from literally doing what would be considered probably God's work? How can you discourage somebody who has a seed of the Spirit inside of them?
For the youth.
To open eyes, to spread knowledge, to expand the great mindscape of humanity.
I guess you bring them in August into a Staples, and you just bring them to the side, and you just watch weary teachers pulling out their wallets sadly, and just like craning over their debit cards with a tote bag filled with markers, tearing up. Why are you tearing up? Because I've been teaching for 21 years.
It starts again tomorrow.
We start again tomorrow.
It starts again.
It starts again, turns around wearing a bulletproof vest. It starts again tomorrow.
Would you think that the majority of people
you're
would
right,
dissuade their child from doing so because of the pitiful pay or the extreme dangers?
I would say the
likelihood of being
taken,
slaughtered,
taken away,
taken.
It would be the combination,
or the utter lack of effectiveness of the station of the post.
Oh, meaning that like whatever you do,
you call it God's work, but there's no work happening here because nothing's changing, nothing's happening.
The devil is in this classroom. Run. This is Satan's classroom. Run.
Satan's church, aka
these
class.
Kids aren't listening to you.
That's what I mean. That
even if they are, their parents will. If their parents find out what you're teaching them, they'll come for you. So at one point, someone's coming to hurt you. Physically.
Shouldn't it be that the world's wealthiest people should be teachers because they can afford to be teachers? They don't have to, and that since they have succeeded so well, that they are the people that we should be getting the information from because they've done such exquisite jobs of.
But they don't know anything. We should just take their money.
And then give it to the kids.
and then give it to the kids and forget the teachers. And tell the kids, listen, I've got a stipend for you every month for the next 60 years. You can drop out of third grade. Would you like to drop out of third grade? I'm going to break you off every month for the next 60 years. It's your choice. You can stay in school. I don't know what you're going to learn. You make some friends, you know. But there can be a lot of embarrassments, too. You're going to save yourself a lot of embarrassments,
Oh,
you know.
I mean,
Oh, my God. I think
there's probably
I'm having my period. Oh, fuck.
I'm like,
Oh, fuck. I wish I was home.
I'm like,
If I took that stipend, this would be happening.
all I had to do is just
All I had to
cash
do was
that
take
check.
that stipend. Yep.
I don't know. Is there?
Can't get a date to this dance. If there was no dance,
What if there was no dance?
no date.
What if there was
Hence,
no
it
music
didn't
in the
matter.
world?
What if there was no music? I think we should all get back to being musicians. What about poetry? What about poems?
Speaking of music
Speaking of music of the mind,
and the word,
this is a poem that Jonathan, you wrote this. I would say you were in your teenage years. This would have been the 1990s.
early to mid.
Early to mid 1990s. So everybody, wherever you are, just take a moment.
Yeah, put
take
your-
yourself back into
Put your-
that. Wherever you
put
were.
your black flies on and
This is
slip,
called
slip into those etnies.
Sins of the Father.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I
Father.
know. Father.
Father.
Jonathan, with
Uh-oh.
your work, it's so multifaceted.
Father could mean anything.
Sin could mean yeah.
Father could mean John Larroquette. It
God,
could mean Bob Marley,
could
Jaw.
mean Robert Nestor Marley, John Highest. Sin could be bad. Sin can be good. He was a man so stubborn in his ways that not even his own loving son could get through to him.
Uh-oh. This is bad.
Oh
no, this is very literal.
Way too personal.
This is very literal.
It's about my
There's nothing.
dad,
This is
John
a-
Larroquette of Night Court. Oh, fuck.
Email addresses.
Oh, fuck. His son was at one time the same, but was trying to improve on this. He hated his father for holding him back.
I don't know what I'm talking about.
But at the same time,
maybe
knew-
I'm not talking about
Maybe
myself.
not.
I'm hoping I'm not.
He hated his father for holding him back, but at the same time knew that one day his father would die,
This is
and he would no longer have to deal with any of the problems that he had to grow up with.
what the fuck.
But one day his father cut him so deep that the son couldn't handle it. And the son ran away, never seeing his father or the rest of his family as a result. And until the day the son died, he resented his father for what he did.
What did he do?
What did he do
to you?
to you? And where
mu-
did you go?
This must be about
My father.
no
John Larroquette.
No. I'm saying this sounds to me like I'm
You mean the father? A priest? Maybe
No,
you were
I think I'm addressing pedophilia.
pedophilia.
I think.
Okay.
I think.
You think you are writing this from the point of view, the perspective of a victim of a sexual
No, of an observer
An
of a sexual
of deviancy,
crime, of a father
Where did
against a
observed,
child.
You observed this. Maybe it was a friend of yours.
It was a friend who I knew from childhood until the day that they died.
until he died,
In an
resenting
apartment,
in an
resenting
apartment
their
in Canoga Park.
I'm sorry. What? What am I saying though?
I don't know.
What? How does it end?
And until the day the
that's it?
son died.
That's it. That's the end of it.
That's the end of the poem. He resented his father for what he
Okay,
did.
so this is
Of course
either
he did.
this is either me trying to address the long-term damage of
sexual abuse,
of sexual
childhood sexual
abuse.
abuse. Again,
or
doing
it
what-
is a lightly shrouded threat poem to my father. Maybe.
yeah, for holding you back. Never held you back. I mean,
Most-
held you the most non-held back
Held me forward
ever.
held me forward at all times.
Yeah, one time driving, you saw a photo of a didgeridoo, and then in your home the next day, there was like a Aboriginal, the New Zealand's greatest didgeridoo maker presented on your bed.
I
Never held back.
I don't.
So it's-
I
it
would
was a
assume
veiled-
I can't because it's not conjuring up anything. I think it was me
This could
trying
just
to just
be-
me just
yes.
covering world issues.
All your bases,
All my
yes.
bases, all my world issues.
Jesus, pedophilia. All the
What a
scandals.
weirdo! What a fucking little weirdo.
It's the sins of the father. And those sins are inflicted on the son.
Until he dies.
Until he dies and he resents
his
it.
dying day,
Well,
he
yeah.
resents his father.
But does does he die before the father?
It felt like that, but I don't think so.
And again, and until the day the son died,
So it's just
he just resented his father for what he did.
Actually, we don't know, because all I'm telling is the story of my friend who also lost touch with his family and the father. So we don't actually know
From
whatever happened to
everybody.
the father. All I know is that he resented the father until the day that he died.
He ran away. But ran away, that's a young person runs away.
I told you I knew him my whole life, his whole life.
His whole life.
I don't know how I knew him his whole life, and yet I was only 15.
Yeah, and he died in Canoga Park as a penniless old man. Okay.
But I was
That's what the great poets do. They are stepping into another human being's not only shoes, but soul.
yeah.
The point of view, that's what a great writer can do. You can conjure up different scenarios that are different from your own. Unless, of course, Sins of the Father, you're
It's
specifically
actually
talking about
your
John Larroquette,
father.
NBC's Night Court. I don't know.
We have a red list. This is the IUCN Red List. To date, more than 93,500 species have been assessed for the IUCN Red List.
What's that?
The IUCN Red List is the list of threatened species.
How many?
93,500.
Didn't even know that was. I mean, there must be so many species.
Uh,
So there's 93,000 species of sort of. I guess that can be any kind of living. I don't know what the classification is.
well, it does say
Bugs,
No, I believe
birds.
It's, yeah.
But 93,000, that's a lot to catalog, no? That's a big spreadsheet.
Established in 1964, the International Union for Conservation of Nature's Red List of Threatened Species has evolved to become the world's most comprehensive information source on the global conservation status of animal, fungi,
Oh,
and plant species.
flora, fauna.
It is a worldwide conservation status listing and ranking system.
I like this.
It divides species into 9 categories, of which the official term threatened is a subset of 3
I
categories.
mean, we're all threatened.
Being critically endangered, and vulnerable. This list and this type of status is at my local zoo in Palm Desert, the Living Desert.
Haven't been there yet. Can't wait.
It's the best. All of the species are all listed with their rankings.
When you go to this,
Because
to the
everybody
zoo,
at the zoo is a rescue, and almost all of them are threatened or
it's the threatened species.
endangered,
zoo.
endangered, critically endangered, or vulnerable. All of them.
I love that. I mean, you see an animal anyway.
Not
that's
all of them, but almost
adorable.
all of
when
them.
you know they're vulnerable, it's extra adorable.
Yes, and because they have like these areas where they're trying to get these ones to breed that like never breed and all this stuff, and they do like
Breed,
a lot
but
of
you mean
that.
fuck.
Yeah.
What about those zoos that have those like fuck nights where you like people go and get like wasted and they watch like the animals fuck? What about those?
Never heard of this.
Yeah,
Seth.
that's a bit.
Did
I
you
don't
make
know
this
about
up?
that. No, I don't think I made that up. I think the zoos do that. It's called like fuck night. Like
Fuck night at the zoo.
Yeah, come get drunk.
Come get drunk and watch
peek on these
animals
animals fuck. 888-842-2357. Unless I really like.
I don't
hope
know.
that
That
exists.
sounds
'cause that
far
would be
out.
like. That'd be
Are
a
you
real,
sure you don't? Are
that'd be
you
a
talking
real
about blacklight
tattletale on
bowling?
myself.
Are you
You're talking about
confusing?
axe throwing's a new thing,
Blacklight
right?
bowling. I think.
Blacklight axe throwing.
Not animals fucking.
Yeah, I call them fuck nights. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Fuck nights.
And you like peep, you like hide and watch the lemurs like blow each other. And you're like, this shit is crazy.
You've never been to a zoo, have you?
I went to the LA Zoo
What, to-
on my birthday one year. Long time
Last
ago.
time I was at the LA Zoo, I was outside protesting,
I thought that was you. I was like, how the fuck is that
holding
dude?
like
Yeah,
you know,
like-
don't
like,
cage this
Don't
elephant.
cage this elephant. You guys gotta come up with something.
I'm not kidding.
Don't do bad stuff to the elephant. Don't do. How come no one is? So zoos are bad all across the board? Not that yours is the only one. Right down the street.
That's it.
Vulnerable. The vulnerable.
The vulnerable zoo. the world's most vulnerable
And they
zoo.
gotta be good in some way because they bring education and conservation. Or am I? I don't
No,
know.
that is the
Okay.
belief. They just unfortunately still are, trying to sell tickets, get asses and
Yeah.
seats and stuff, and so they obviously do things to the
It ain't
animals that are
fucking
there.
SeaWorld, right? I mean,
It's like,
it's
I
not-
think SeaWorld is worse. But
yeah, that's what I mean.
I do know
There's
that
gotta
the
be
elephant thing was like something that everyone knew was something they were not supposed to do. That like anyone who knew about elephants and like the way that they
about
they socially deal with each other, and
don't
they
wanna, like,
they put it in there,
live in Hollywood.
and it like died of depression like
Yeah.
9 months later or something. It was like exactly what everyone said was going to happen. But I think the last time I was there, that was, and it was like one of those moments for me where I was like, this is like, I'm at my, I'm hitting a limit as far as my
activism.
maybe, or my willingness to fight for particular causes or to do certain things
Okay.
that I wasn't connecting to the
mission.
that particular aspect of the mission.
Okay.
Like me and that crew, I was like, I don't belong
I don't
with
like
this crew.
This crew.
I
should
just
be like
maybe one or two
should
steps
be-
up
I
the
should be,
ladder
like,
of this,
in and out
this
eating
charity.
with my other crew. Oh, you want to be like okay? You don't want to do the work. You want to cut a check. I'd much rather be in a movie, air-conditioned movie theater, cutting a check.
It's like more about
Boots
like
on the ground type.
you
flavor.
guys get out.
You guys do the
street
work.
team.
You let me know what the check is. I cut the check, and I did as much as you. Save
I
the
did
elephants
more.
now. Save the elephants now. Does that work better? I think I had a good time at the zoo. I just want to know. I don't want to do. Hey, if you don't go to zoos, tell me. I won't go to zoos.
No, I think I do know you can look, but like Santa Barbara Zoo,
Don't touch.
Living Desert, the one down by my crew, by my house.
my crew of activists. I let sleep in my garage after a long day. I put a jug of water
my
out.
Earth First
yeah,
elf
my
crew.
Earth Firsters. I put some cold tempeh and a jug of water out for them.
I haven't seen them in a year, but I know
seen
it's always gone, so I know that they're
know,
still
they're
alive
good.
in the bunker.
I know. Isaiah, I think, is their leader.
So, okay, it's a worldwide conservation status listing and ranking system. It divides them into the subset of threatened into critically endangered, endangered, and vulnerable.
Okay.
Now, there are other status listings. Extinct in the wild,
Extinct
meaning
adjacent.
that extinct in the wild, meaning that like my place has a couple of things. It's like these are the only known
Cloppapoos. Yeah.
This is the only known living clopapoo
That exists.
They're known. We believe that they are extinct in the wild.
You want to watch them fuck.
So if you want to watch them fuck, you got to come back after 6.
Yes.
Critically endangered, that's CR. Endangered, vulnerable, near threatened, least concern,
Okay.
data deficient, and not evaluated.
So those are that's a lot of classifications.
Data deficient, UID.
Data deficient.
Data deficient.
UID, threatened, vulnerable, nearly
data deficient.
Data deficient. So I finished my Columbo viewing experience. My initial
Now you're in the books.
now in the
Books on tape.
research, location mapping, and scouting. But
Cosplay.
It was in May.
Some mild cosplay.
Mild
Waist up
cosplay. It was in May of this year, episode 920, when I said, "Hey, Columbo," when I finally discovered.
And do we
So
remember?
Columbo was
I'm
the best.
sorry. Remind me.
It was just during the
why
pandemic. It came up
in your feeds.
in my life and internet research.
just the life
oh, this is a show
that I
in terms
don't
of
know that people
have been
reference.
it's been coming up as a sort
Got
of
it.
whether it was like a cozy show from our cozy or hey,
Got
this
it.
is a little undiscovered gem, and then people saying, you know what you.
I think it was a cozy show.
I don't know if it. No, I don't know if it ever made. I don't know if it ever made that list.
Okay.
I could double check that, but 69 total episodes. There were 2 pilots, 43 episodes in the 70s, and then I finished the 24 episodes that started in 1989.
So what that second pilot would have been a 1989.
The second,
like
there was a pilot in 1968, and then the second pilot was in 1971 in March, and then September of 71, season 1 kicked off. So that pilot was like, oh, we're about to get... Because in the 1968 pilot, he's not really Columbo. He has a proper suit on.
He's like
and his hair is
just a detective
shorter.
and like,
he's
like, he's a
But in the second one, he's a little bit more like, oh, here we go. Look at this characterization Mr. Falk has created. 43 episodes in the 70s. So he was 44 when that started, and he was 50 when the run. 43 years old, 44 years old, season 1, 50 on season 7 when in 1978 the 70s run ended. He's 61 when it comes back in 1989.
Sorry, hold on. Sorry.
I'm sorry, that's
His age.
Peter Falk's
age.
44 to 50 when in the 1970s run.
Take a 10-year break.
Takes a break, comes back at 61 and 89, and they seasons 8, 9, and then 10. There's 24 episodes that go all the way up to 2003. So he's 75 years old when it stops. When the final episode, Columbo Likes the Nightlife. This was the final episode of Columbo. Columbo investigates the apparent suicide of a tabloid reporter in the Los Angeles rave scene.
Ayo!
That was January 30, 2003. He's 75. Kerry Russell's husband, your little buddy from Perry Mason, that old guy. He's the
Scottish dude?
Yeah, whatever. I can't say that name because
the star of
he was that
Perry? Perry?
Yeah, I can't say that last name. RHYS. I don't know how you say that. I'm from Haverhill, Massachusetts. We don't have those names.
Say it like a peanut butter cup.
Say it like a peanut butter cup. So that guy, Matthew RHYS, he was the lead. This is bad now as using Perry Mason. I'm sorry.
Wait, though. So he was working
that was in 2003.
as an American?
Yeah, he did this guest spot on the final episode
and
of
he
Columbo.
was a rave promoter?
He was well, in this episode, there was a lot of things. They said there was paparazzo. This is pre-TMZ. There was raving. There were glow sticks. Can you imagine my boy? Watching my boy Columbo stumble through this, and I'm just like, you gotta end this.
Happening.
You gotta end this show.
Any idea?
Earlier,
do we ever get an age reference on the character Columbo at any point?
No, there's
never ever happy birthday.
No.
Okay.
No, we do get earlier when he was 66 years old in this same final season. They got him in the back of a car taking his pants off. And I'm looking, Columbo's legs up in the air, like literally from his thigh down to his feet. I was like, you guys, you got to stop this. I don't want to see that. And I want to see it all. But I don't want to see Columbo's bare legs. It ain't the 70s no more. But in the final episode, look at this screenshot I took right here. This was on the paparazzo. That was in his address, his date book. What's that say?
It says right on Fountain.
Well, you got to take it right on Fountain. Right, yeah.
I'm sorry. It's also April 24th is the date on
okay. That would have been 2003?
April 24th, 2003. Right on Fountain, left on Wilcox to Las Palmas.
Right to the studio. Can you imagine that? Watching the final episode of Columbo. And then just like, I look out, and that Peugeot pulls up, and I just said,
hop in.
Bye. There was like a character actor that did more episodes than anybody. He appears on the final episode. I was like, oh, that's kind of fitting. I wonder if they knew it was the final episode. He opens up the door. Columbo comes to his house, and I'm like, oh, that's like so cool. He's talking to him. Then the camera cuts behind him. The guy's wearing pair of eyeglasses. Then it cuts to Columbo's point of view, no glasses on. I was like, you guys done fucked up. You got to stop this show right now. You're doing everybody dirty.
This is tough.
You're doing all the greats from the 70s dirty.
One last
time. One more time. 75-year-old Lieutenant Columbo investigates the apparent suicide of a tabloid reporter in the Los Angeles rave scene.
So that means that the paparazzi is hanging out in the rave scene in LA?
I don't want to give it away. Spoiler alert. He's got some photographs, compromising photographs.
Of ravers.
Of ravers taking what they used to call ecstasy. So yeah, now we go, we've gone through, and now we do a more clinical, deeper dive.
Who's we?
Myself.
Who's we?
And friends. We do a more textual dive. We kind of sort of take a step back now that we've we've gone through one time, and now we have a sort of sense of who Lieutenant Columbo is, and now we kind of see how it works into our lives, more importantly.
I wonder, I mean, we'll see this show again, right? We're going to see the show. Like, it's going to happen.
You mean some sort of iteration?
I just can't think that its presence in our universe like this is going to stop after tonight.
Oh,
I think it's going to what you've tapped into is whatever it's swirling in the
Percolating.
in the zeitgeist
back
at the moment.
burner to the front burner.
So yeah, this transition, this
Yes.
transformation that Columbo is currently
If you
experiencing
experience right now in our world,
in its arc.
in this dimension. Isn't that amazing though that can once the energy, because we're all just energy, right?
Everything.
Or
It's
fractals,
all,
zeros and ones.
I had some energetic clearing work done yesterday
Perfect.
that I've been sort of living in the wake of. For
Okay,
the last,
you mean post a blockage removal,
Thank you.
if you will.
And yeah, I would if what happened to me yesterday was any indication, I would say that what you're saying is
true.
very true.
We are energy.
We are pure energy.
Pure energy. I think that was on. I think that was on that
Energy.
pure energy, and like
Columbo.
they're like, Mr. Columbo, take this pill. Gobble gobble. It was really crazy when Columbo walked in with those Jenkos. I was like, we need to stop.
Just one more thing.
Just one more Jinko. And like, oh shit. We need to stop this show right now. This iteration.
Just one more Jinko. Before I go,
one more.
A glass eye. Is that correct, Mr. Falk?
He lost his eye to cancer as a child.
And so the eye is a fake eyeball.
The eyeball
Is glass.
is
Prosthetic.
not his.
Not his. But do we think it's would you imagine it as a full spherical unit that's been placed into the socket, or do you think it's just a half convex cover that just creates the
convex illusion?
The front surface of the eye.
A smoke and mirror, if you will.
I just wonder because I know that both exist.
I wonder what existed though at that
A glass
time.
eye, I don't believe is truly a glass eye. I think they're more like porcelain or something. But my understanding is
Like
that glass eyes were
painted?
they go under the eyelid, but they're just like a cover. But whereas like there's like ones that like I think are like the full ball that you like boonk and it like pockets in.
like party favor shit. Like, yeah, like at the Emmys, like you can like.
Overall,
Yeah.
the Earth's spin has slowed by about 6 hours in the last 2,740 years, astronomers report.
Okay.
In the publication Proceedings of the Royal Society A.
This has a date on it. This was
in.
I had this in our UhhYeahDude
Arcs.
that we never used. It's from
Covenant.
when? The Covenant, if you will. So just to be clear, this is when is this from?
December of 2016.
I guess in the grand scheme of things,
We're probably still pretty close to these
probably.
numbers.
But
Who knows?
I'm just saying, for authenticity's sake, which is what this show is all about.
Uh,
So what happened? We give that to me one more time. I'm sorry.
Well, basically, there's another way
Okay,
of
sorry.
taking it. So at 2,740 years, we've lost about 6 hours of speed, as it were. So we've slowed.
in the last
Our
2,700
spin
years,
has slowed by about 6 hours in the last 2,700 years. In the proceedings, that sounds like a lot, but
Yeah.
actually it works out to the duration of a 24-hour day being lengthened by about 1.78 milliseconds over the course of 100 years.
so every 100 years
We get about 2 milliseconds longer days.
and you feel that seasonal affective disorder.
I'm-
You feel
especially
that
this year.
right now.
This year I
felt it. Even though the
It's got to be
the
another
studies from a few
0.8
years ago.
milliseconds. We got to be hovering somewhere around
And
3
that
milliseconds.
motherfucker, that's how they break down that science, man. Calculator ain't going to do that. That's when you got
I
to
think
bring
it's a calculator.
It is.
It's
Oh, yeah,
only
it
a
is.
calculator that
The
can do that kind of
sundial.
math.
The sundial.
I think that kind of crunching only happens
Comes
with the
from the
with
mega-
come the mega
megacalcs.
megacalcs
Megacalcs.
that we grew up with.
Love that.
Not the megacalcs
Discovery
you grew
Plus
up with.
megacalcs. So it's good to know. That was a few years ago, so I don't know what that means in terms of
It means
faster
absolutely
or slow.
nothing.
Okay.
We
In the grand scheme
we're
of things.
literally at the exact same point that we were when
Okay.
when you clipped this.
Okay.
No adjustment
So everybody chill.
necessary.
Everybody chill. How do we know that time exists?
We don't.
Well, that's probably a interesting answer. I don't want to say it's good or bad.
Or right.
Binary. I
Correct
don't know.
or
Correct
wrong.
or incorrect.
But it's an interesting answer.
The article I read was
We do not.
How do we know that time exists? Okay. I read the article.
And what
do
does
you
the
know what it
article
I wrote down
How
some
do we
of
know
the-
that this article exists?
because I again, the authenticity, I would not lie. I printed it.
But I see it's all
You
handwritten.
see,
So
well,
this
you
is
see
all-
that.
Oh, okay,
yeah,
okay.
right there.
All right.
It says, I couldn't write that. Thank you. I just cut the title out because I read it. I don't know if I totally understood the article.
Okay.
But I wrote down the key phrases that were involved.
That they were, and they are arguing for the fact that we do know it exists.
I don't know in the end if they were arguing, or convincing,
or anything. Just maybe
but this
presenting
is what
the
presented
the
words. Presented words.
By
yeah,
UhhYeahDude.
dude.
Presenting
words.
Info. Presenting only words.
Newtonian physics.
Okay, Newtonian physics is about gravity and shit, right?
Okay.
So,
Hydrostatic equilibrium.
don't know what that is, but I do believe that gravity is used in reference to proving that time exists.
Okay.
I know that.
Einstein's general theory of relativity.
Right, which I think also has something to do with energy, gravity, and because gravity creates
Okay.
time, because gravity is like crushing,
Okay.
crushes matter or whatever.
Gravitational force formula. Again, yes. Dimensional manifolds.
Wow.
Curved geometry. Of course.
I think guys should refer to their ladies'
As
intimate areas as
curved geometry.
no, the other one.
Oh, dimensional manifolds. That's my side
I want to
piece.
explore
My lady.
my,
See,
my boo.
yeah.
She's my
Yeah, Friday nights are for wives.
Interdimensional.
Saturday nights are for girlfriends, or is it the other way around? I'm not sure.
wait. But what about beer with the bro?
But what? Yeah, what about Friday night beers? 4D vacuums, twin paradox, wave particle duality, principle of equivalence, electrodynamic theory, and light velocity. So those are the key phrases that I connected with, I think, the most. Again, I don't. So this is open for interpretation, I would think. Everything should be. 888-842-2357. So how do we know that time exists? I don't know if we do. Or maybe
I don't think-
maybe we do with all those somebody called and
So
they're like, no, we
that
do.
sounds to me like
We
those
do,
are
though.
arguments for that we do. That
Like-
time becomes. I think in quantum physics, I think
Okay.
that they use it like that. It's
It is
predicated on the belief that time exists.
Oh,
I think or something.
So we're all
along,
starting with that.
in I think certain people are basing the idea off of that formulas include time in it, meaning that time would need to exist in order for these formulas to actually make sense.
When I got to invariant hyperbola, I always check out. You know that. When I was at Caltech,
Do you think we have the capacity,
the best podcast? I do. I think we do.
if you and I decided
Yeah.
to just like hyper focus on a particular science or subject like this, do you think
No. Chance.
No?
No.
not even if we were just like, let's just figure this out and like got a specialist to like tell us how to educate ourselves on it?
Don't have those brains.
Even to the point of being able to read the article and understand it? Because
Not a
if they're making an article, that means there's plenty of other people who are just like interested parties, right? That aren't actually like deeply involved and have a deep understanding. So there are people like, can my dad read that and understand? No. Are you not really supposed to be reading it? No. Are you not allowed?
I was like looking over my shoulder when I was doing it. I don't get busted here.
But there's you
I
think
put stuff in
it's
front of the door.
beyond us.
I put stuff in front of the front door, so I knew.
You think it's beyond our like cave brains? Do you think if we were younger, we would be able to wrap our minds around it?
Nope.
Is
888-842-2357. Tell me about the principle of equivalence, but don't because I don't understand.
Yeah, I guess I don't. I like to
But
think.
keep it up. Do it.
I like to think that I do, but I believe that what I confuse with that capacity is actually just a wild imagination. And so, like,
do we exist?
I can imagine.
Once you start asking if shit exists, you can give it any name and come up with any fucking theory. What are you talking about?
Okay, but you could still, like you're saying, educate yourself enough to where you at least know, you actually have an understanding of what these posited theories are. And you could maybe say, in my research, like, I don't think that holds.
I think Einstein's a fucking doofus.
All right?
In my research.
Jabroni.
Albert Jabroni Einstein.
What was his middle name?
Did you know that? They don't have that on his Wikipedia. Because they lie to you.
Because they scrubbed the net.
They took it off because they scrubbed the net. Because of fucking 4G. You heard about 4D vacuums? What about 5G towers? Huh? You ever think about that? Does time exist? Do we exist?
Well, sure, you could, but
is it healthy to start to think like that, or is it should? I don't mean that. I just that can really
start.
Or I guess not start. To how much time do you want to start asking yourself if like we exist?
Well,
if this is a simulation or not, could that become unhealthy?
I mean, what else is there left to discuss?
Football.
That's what I mean.
Okay.
That like we know
what it is.
If it's just this, we've pretty much got the gist of it so far. I mean, we obviously there's like free radicals and like crazy shit can pop off at any moment.
So you want to start,
but at least that we do have like we've like eked out we have a lot of our rituals.
Where do we go when we die?
Right. I mean, what else is there to? The only argument against it is not that it's healthy or unhealthy, is that it isn't remotely.
I just don't.
Maybe it's not worthwhile because that we are not going to get any closer to a satisfactory understanding or answer, no matter how long we talk about it. If it's not a worthwhile pursuit, then it probably isn't healthy. But if
nothing is a worthwhile pursuit. This would have to be more worthwhile than anything else, I guess, because nothing is a worthwhile pursuit.
Well, does it bring you comfort or discomfort to contemplate?
Like learning everything about like coffee can't be a worthwhile pursuit.
Well, it's worthwhile if it's
what
of value to you, which means if you get paid from it or
what if you
propels
don't,
you
and you spend 6 hours a day and you learn everything about like roastings and beans.
You're a nerd.
Is that worthwhile?
No, I mean it's no.
Okay.
No.
So maybe we should only all be focusing on if time exists or we exist. I think I jumped.
Or is it that we are?
Or should we just decide when every TV show that ever existed jumped the shark? Should we be focused more on that collectively?
I think that exists.
That exists?
I don't know if they're correct, but I think there's plenty of people that are willing to tell you when.
I want to thank those people.
But here's my thing. I guess it's if the problem is that we are
dumb.
We are suffering in the here and now.
Okay.
In what is feeling more and more like completely and utterly irreparable ways.
Okay.
And yet we insist on continuing to pontificate about things in which we absolutely have no true insight.
Oh, yeah.
And no real usable knowledge.
Oh, yeah,
and it is
we'll die on that hill.
We will die on that hill because it is an endless hole that you're trying to fill because it is infinite. What we do not know, it will continue to be what we do not know, no matter how much we know.
But what
we will always have that.
We do know that body work, such as the body work you had done, got rid of some blockages. We know that that's true.
How many sound baths have you been present at in your life?
Outside of the Integratron.
No. Just including the Integratron, how many sound baths have you experienced in your life?
I'm going to say 4.
And of those,
Exquisite, all 4.
all 4?
A plus.
How long were they?
Integratron, 30 minutes. Some weird crystal store down in Santa Monica next to that Matthew Kenny pizza restaurant, 00, 45 minutes.
Nice set and setting. Real.
Couple of yoga classes at the Center for Yoga on Larchmont, 15 minutes.
You have any idea how long?
Transformative.
How long my session was yesterday?
75 minutes.
It was 3 hours long.
Okay. Bye.
3 hours. I was
Immersed.
not all sound bath.
You can't.
Some of it is.
Can't
it
all
was-
be pearls.
there
You
was-
have to have something to
There was
string.
work going on over my body.
Kinesiology.
There was
kinetic
also
work.
gong work.
Gong work, of course.
And then the bowl work, which was the
Bowl
craziest
work.
bowl experience.
How many hands doing the gong and or
It
bowl
was just
work?
me and one person.
4 hands.
No, 2.
But 4. There were 4 hands in the building.
Yeah, but
need-
I am
I know,
under-
but I need to know how many.
But I am on a
physical-
bio bed with a
Yes.
lavender mask on. I am like out.
But your hands are attached to your body. I have to always know how many hands
How
are
many
in the building.
digits?
There were 4 hands, yet only
40 digits.
Yet 40 digits, yet only 20 at work. 10 at work. How many?
No,
at once?
20 at work because you got toes. Well, my toes
I don't count toes.
tingling, so those aren't digits
No,
anymore.
I only count hands.
Oh, so then there was only 20 digits,
Okay.
and
10 were at work.
and
10 were at healing.
10 were
Healing mode.
10 were emptying out their fucking
Everything.
their rucksacks.
Everything. Just like you came out your fingernails.
3 hours.
You're like
3 fucking hours.
That's so
after drinking
long.
a glass of fucking magnesium water that was so disgusting.
Okay.
And
Just
like-
what does that do?
Well, the magnesium is a conductor, and so when you're doing
sound.
vibrational work
Gong
and energy
work, of
work,
course.
the magnesium echoes and can resonate
Right.
with the other vibrations that are passing through.
Did your fingernails, were they longer when you came out? You
Well,
were
they turned black
noticing-
for about 4 hours afterwards, and
Okay.
then they started to return to their
Because there
normal
was
color.
so much healing.
so much filth coming out of them. No, but it was. I don't even know.
We know that's
I'm not
real.
sure.
What was it? We're not sure.
What are you asking? Are
I
you
just-
asking me
is it-
something?
Did it exist? Did it exist? Yes.
What is? I don't know. What?
What is existence?
But I
Did you ask that yourself when your eyes were closed? during
No,
this
but I
work?
mean, I would say that I sort of don't know what the fuck is happening to me at any point, and if it's really happening or not. I mean, I would say that I pretty much at this point am willing to at
the
any
only
point.
thing I'd say about that, it's such a long time of doing something. There's a lot of things that if I made you do for 3 hours, it would have an effect on you, maybe mind
no,
or body.
absolutely no
So,
question about
yeah.
it. So I am not entirely clear on what.
Yeah.
Just committing to anything for 3 hours in which you
Yeah.
essentially don't do anything
Totally.
except kind of
If I-
maintain
yeah.
space.
If I lightly whipped you for 3 hours, you would leave a different person.
I would pay you and
Yes,
leave a
you'd
different
leave with
person.
less money,
and I'd be
but more
talking about it
insights.
right now.
Yes. It was amazing.
As emphatically as I am
I was
about
lightly whipped by him. The Vine American Party Store is on 5969 Melrose Avenue. Cross Street is Wilcox Avenue. Do
walking
you know
distance. Walking distance. I've maybe bought things in there twice in my life.
it? We have been in business since 1934. Jonathan has been here twice.
In that time, Jonathan has
Been
visited
it
twice.
We are a 10,000 square foot
It is-
party store.
Yeah.
We have a dedicated staff who can help you with all your party needs. We are open 7 days a week, Monday through Saturday, 9 to 6, Sunday, 9 to 4. We are not the best because we are the oldest. We are the oldest because we are the best.
I love it.
If you want it, we have it. If we don't have it, we'll get it.
You don't want it.
You don't want it. If we can't get it, we'll help you find it. And Jonathan has been here twice.
And in that time.
And in that time, he spent a lot of money and liked it. So there's some talk on my real estate blogs that building, which is like
prime time.
prime time,
They're
might
putting
be
hits
like,
on that whole family right now.
Literally, there's just like developers driving by like, "You fucking done!" It's like stopping at that red light and like yelling into them. I mean, that fucking you got a
boutique
prime lot
hotel
on
like
no-
waiting to
Yeah.
happen, like dying to
just
crawl
like
out.
you guys are selling balloons.
And it is fucking
space.
It's humongous.
Big space.
Probably not the most lucrative.
We have a dedicated staff. Some of the Yelp reviews and Samantha's own
Would
reviews are like, so
beg
maybe
to
that might
differ?
not be the case of dedication to send you into madness, but maybe not helping you find said balloons. But nonetheless, this quaint little fucking fixture on Melrose, it's like,
Days are
you
numbered.
guys are fucked. People are going to kill you for this because they want money and they would rather kill you to get the
Than
money
not get
than
it.
not get the money. They will kill you, everyone in the building and anyone who's been there, including Jonathan and Samantha, to get money. Oh, I only have to kill everyone in the store right now, some of their immediate family, wherever they live in Los Angeles,
And
and
one
Samantha, and two people that have
one
been
real
there,
estate
and the
developer.
podcast guy's girlfriend and best friend. I'll kill all of them for $100. So that's you better go get your last balloon, like your Super Bowl fucking go get your Super
Bon
Bowl
voyage
decorations
Super
now.
Bowl balloon.
Like,
Well,
God,
hopefully
it's
that
tough.
I would hope that the family has managed to purchase said building in that time,
in the event.
so that at least that when they are
They'll be
killed,
compensated.
they'll be
Killed
compensated
And, like,
appropriately.
yeah, I'm sorry, there's no one to give it to. They killed extended and immediate
Everybody,
family.
children's,
everybody.
children's children.
They killed the grandkids. Oh, there was a newborn? Oh, you're not going to believe what happened at the hospital. The newborn was taken. It was in a preemie unit. The nurses turned around, and a man
Vanished.
was running with the child.
For the first time in its 50-year history, Coffee Mate is getting into plant-based creamers. The classic coffee complement has just announced plant-based almond and oat milk creamers in French vanilla and caramel flavors. Plant-based options in the creamer aisle are still few. The one at Whole Foods is psychotic.
When did you write that?
That is like the one there. There's like an entire
like a
cooler
wall
that's
of, like,
just little
It's a
half and half.
Annexed, like, refrigerator you walk into.
The growing in popularity, repping 15% of the category in 2022, which makes the blend of almond and oat milk from Coffee Mate a welcome
Okay.
addition for fans.
We'll see.
Coffee Mate plant-based almond and oat milk creamers will be available at select Walmart locations come October, then expanding into other retailers nationwide.
Took you a while.
In
Took you 50 years.
2023,
Took you 50 years. Any sugar-free options? What are you working with there?
I get that's not good.
Any sugar-free options over there? What are you working with? That's the problem because you can't.
Nature's Bliss,
Oh, that's a play. That ain't good.
but that's a
Yeah.
plant-based one.
Okay, but that ain't good. That can't be
It's
good.
super sugary. I think
Well,
they
that's
make a
one
non,
way to
but it's
combat it.
that's the way they do it. They
Yeah.
just it's so fucking sweet that you're like, well,
And
you
then
know,
a serving size is a teaspoon, except you use 6 tablespoons, and that's where they get you. So you put in 6 tablespoons, and then it's to taste. But then you look at the serving size, you're like,
And you're like,
the
oh, wait.
serving size was 1.5.
this is 1,100
teaspoons.
calories.
This is 11. This is 490 milligrams of sodium.
I mean, literally.
What
they're like-
happened here? That's
I-
what I get you.
I think I figured out. I think I've been doing the math.
done
on
enough
my, on my
research.
Starbucks drink.
Okay.
It's a little confusing because of my mods.
Your
Because
mods
you can't
make it hard to dictate-
calorically.
Yeah.
But
Get-
I'm somewhere hovering
Get
in
that
a.
to the lab. Let's
What
bring
would you
that-
guess that thing, the one in the morning, which is the extra shot with caramel and extra pumps,
I'm gonna say it's. How much does it cost? I'm gonna say it's $8.
$7.
a
It's
lot
a
of
little
money.
less than 7.
I would have said 8. You say it's 7. You're talking about what is the content of milligrams of sugar in that drink?
How many calories?
Oh, calories. I don't know. I would only know milligrams of sugar.
Well, isn't there a formula for that? Because I think.
Well,
I mean,
does
that's-
time exist? That's what I always ask my baristas.
323-387-3570.
Okay, that is
That's the
your number. Is
phone
that
number.
toll free? How does that work?
That is not toll free.
Because I got a toll free number.
Standard rates apply.
Right, so text,
so check your
yeah.
local listings
Yeah.
and your providers.
Yeah.
But that's 323-387-3570. You can text or call that number.
Text Quantum.
You can
QUA
text me
and TUA.
Quantum.
Text Quantum to that number, and you're going to get an answer to a
You'll
question.
get an answer to a question you've always wondered
about body work.
about energetic
about
house
lymphatic
clearing.
systems.
Yes.
You dog.
You got to keep that shit moving.
That's why I got you dry brushing every day. I got to keep that
Gotta do
fucking
it.
shit.
Jade rolling, dry brushing.
Well, in the morning, I got my people. We bring my team in.
Team
We
comes
jade
in.
roll his face.
Glam team
The
comes.
glam team comes in, the glow up squad. Jade roll his face. I'm down there with a dry brush on his calves until he wakes up. Sometimes he sleeps through it. Then I give him a gallon of water. I
Chug it
fucking
right now.
Put that salt in it right there.
Go.
And then we put him in the bathroom. Turn the shower on. Hot, 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 hot. Actually, cold, 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 cold. I want to shock his system.
Hots later.
Hots later. I shock his system. We dress him up. We
biohack
throw him
him.
into the world. Then we send him to Starbucks. It all gets ruined.
Everything's fucked.
Fuck.
He goes has diarrhea for 2 hours.
Diarrhea.
He dies of
Yeah.
diarrhea.
Talks on the phone to somebody about gear in Arizona. Till 1.
Then we start over again.
But a Korg that a German musician played on one B-side track in 1979 in Stuttgart. Discuss the intricacies of it. Take a nap for a couple hours. Watch a random episode of a show that you're streaming but you've never really finished. I'll just go back and watch season 6 of this show.
Somewhere in the middle.
Kind of Wikipedia it. See who's in it.
Get the gist.
Maybe grab a bite around 5.
And then into
Early.
the hot shower.
Then the hot shower, couple smokes, kiss the
Everything
lady,
gets ruined.
feed the dogs, and then just pace outside
For about
under the moonlight.
4 hours.
Pace for 4 hours.
Looking for UFOs.
You looking up. Got to make contact eventually. It's
Laser pointer.
Got to happen in my lifetime, right? Yeah, FAA.
What are the odds?
FAA comes
nobody
in.
spent more
You
time.
laser pointed an airplane. Here comes the FAA.
Biplane went down in
shit.
the fucking
Killed a
Coachella
Killed
Valley.
a family just on vacation. Life is funny though, man. It's all like, what is it?
Does it even exist?
Does it even fucking exist?
I don't know. I'm not so sure it does. It feels like it does, and it would have
feels
to.
like it does.
I mean, that would
'Cause
be the number one
pain
thing.
and sorrow and sadness
But tell
is real.
me, but Seth, if you were building a simulation,
Okay.
if you were pitching a simulation
now.
to someone, a full spectrum reality simulation
Of a life,
what
of a
would the
huge-
number one thing you would try to sell your investor on your simulation?
In terms of making it real?
As in terms of its marketability,
Its validity, pleasure.
will be how convinced it's
The subject would be that it is real.
that it is truly happening to it. So, unfortunately, there is nothing. The simulation theory doesn't. It only becomes more convincing the further we get into it, because it's like, oh well, that's just because the model's so intricate. So it's like one of those things that it's like you can never refute it, so it doesn't feel like something that's worth that, like a worthwhile like time. Does
Endeavor.
time exist? Maybe you could actually posit a scientific theory in our lifetime, just like gravity, that like a Newtonian like theory about
Oh, that's
time.
it. I saw that word.
But-
that word's in here.
Well, because like the theory about gravity, that we could come up with some type of theory that in our lifetime could become scientifically accepted enough that that time becomes an accepted aspect of the universe, right? That like space time, that like that we've quantified for the sake of human race, that we've agreed collectively, save for the outliers, the scientific world has agreed time exists. But something like a simulation, I don't think we could. It's like a flat Earth type thing, in that it doesn't almost matter. You could no matter how illogical, you could still posit the theory at the end of it, because there's no way you can refute something that's doesn't require anything to be true. Does that make sense?
I don't know. Because what is sense?
Exactly.
You know?
What sense?
What is it?
It's my old tag from high school.
Yeah, that's all I know it as. And so I get locked into that. And I start thinking about, the aerosol arts.
It doesn't
The
matter how
graffiti masters.
convincing it feels, or how much we could try to prove it does. No
Yes.
matter what, you could say
All
it
the
doesn't.
greats have tried.
You could say it doesn't. But just by saying it
Pleasure,
doesn't,
pain,
it doesn't make it true or untrue, but it still allows you
Yin and yang.
to deny that reality.
Yeah.
That we can just ultimately, no matter how convincing, well, you talked about it, that even right now it's very chic. No, but that it's in vogue
It's
to almost like blatantly deny the reality in which we are being
Oh,
being
that's a
shoved in
vibe.
our face.
That's a vibe. Yeah.
Do you think
Iconic.
that
The Cowboys are
religious-
going to win the Super Bowl? I do. Is that real?
Do you think that religious fundamentalism is a mental illness? Like that it is a particular type that could be actually like a defined
Like in the DSM, it could be
that you could be actually be like that, not religion in general, but that religious
fundamental,
zealotry and
orthodox,
fundamental is actually
conservative, specific. I think it's a mental illness?
I think it's a provable mental illness that it could be, that it certainly could be as
really
legitimate of a spectrum as, say, like a schizophrenia or something like that. That it is an acute type of mental
Wow.
illness. That it is
888-842-2357.
it seems to be a unique.
I don't know. Yeah, I leave that up to someone. Leave that up to the big lady upstairs, who makes it all happen, who dictates our lives, this puppeteer, this marionettes, who pulls these fucking strings,
All these strings.
all these fake ass fucking
Constant
strings.
string pulling.
888-842-2357.
I think it's not only a mental illness.
Wow,
I
here
think
he
it's
goes.
probably the most pervasive mental illness currently plaguing our world and planet.
Whoa! Hot fucking takes at the end of 9:49. Maybe he didn't want to get to 9:50.
I think
You're playing with fire right now, boy.
I think they're committable.
Oh my God! You get this
that
snake? You little boy, I'm gonna start shaking when that horse bear go do you.
I'm gonna save this one for next week.
All right.
My name is Jonathan. This is Seth. We are an independent podcast. We are not part of a network, but we also don't sell commercials. So the only way that we can make money from this show is by you guys supporting us. Now, we keep the show free and ask that you, out of the kindness of your own heart and your generosity,
definitely.
go to Patreon and pay us $5 or more a month.
Even if it's annoying to have to go through the process of like going to a website, taking out
Almost
your
have to
debit
only
card
do it one time, and then basically
Yeah.
we can manage it from there.
until your shit expires, and then
And then
someone
we'll
will let you know.
do it again, and then.
When it's like you're like 11, 20, 20, 22.
But if we're,
fuck.
we're asking for, less than $1 an episode from you guys. If you could do that, you get the video episodes, you get the audio episodes, you get all the archived audio episodes.
Hopefully, AV is on point. Is coming correct right now. That's
Yeah,
our
we're
hope.
not-
It's always our hope.
Not trying to,
I'm trying to fuck with you.
not trying to fuck with you, despite the fact that I,
I'm trying to fuck with you. We're trying to be with you.
trying to enhance this experience
Trying to
for you
enhance
as
this
best
experience,
as
laughter.
this fantasy, this simulation fantasy. But so yeah, go to Patreon, pledge to the show. You get discounts on merch. You get all the audio archived episodes, all the video episodes, and then
You got to come back for 950.
950.
Which 950 has a distinct, definitive
It's a corner.
nature to
Corner
it.
number.
Is that what it is?
It feels to me like it's a corner number.
And by corner number, you mean angel number?
No, I just mean that it's like you're coming around the bend.
Okay, you mean that. And 'cause
That
it's quite
eyes on
simply
eyes on 1K kind of thing, that it's like you
950 says yeah.
you're on the straightaway.
Okay,
you're in the straightaway.
focus.
Don't fuck this up.
What's the straightaway mean? Like we're
the
done?
last, you've done the round, you've come around the hardest turn, and now you
All right.
see the finish line, and all you have to do is just full out, wide open throttle.
Yeah, I know that. But
WOT. WOT.
WOT.
Wide open throttle.
But is there like a finish line, bro?
What is throttle?
What's throttle, bro? What's space? What's speed? What are tires? Air pressure? What's pressure? Doesn't have to be pressure, man.
No worries, no hurries,
No
brah.
worries, no hurries. Shock, brah. What is it? Is it alcoholic? Is it non-alcoholic? I don't know. Drink it. Tell me.
888-842-2357.
What's the finish line? What is happiness? And if there's happiness, there has to be sadness. if there's joy,
we're not trying for that, right?
we're
trying to
build
we're trying
things
to
up,
end it
not
all.
tear them. We're trying
We're
to
trying
end
to-
suffering.
But to end suffering, you have to end joy, just like you said.
Oh,
so it all has to end.
Oh my God.
We have to stop doing this.
Living.
We have to stop existing.
Existing.
We have to stop insisting that we exist.
Can we all agree that we have to stop insisting that we have to exist? What the hell happened to this? Oh yeah, they
Seatbelts.
went crazy in 949. They fucking lost it. Seatbelts.
Seatbelts.